Tired of the negativity? Looking for a shot of optimism? Well, I have an inspiring story to make you smile right after this. This episode of Misfits and Crackpots is brought to you by the Well-Crafted Story Workshop. Struggling to connect with your audience and attract new clients? Transform your speaking skills at the Well-Crafted Story Workshop with Coach Jimmy Hayes Nelson and yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. In just 2 days, master the art of crafting compelling speeches that convert listeners into clients. Whether in-person or virtual, you'll get personalized attention in an intimate group, learning not just from expert coaches, but from fellow entrepreneurs. Don't let another opportunity slip away. Get your free story blueprint today at wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com and turn your story into your most powerful business tool. Your success starts here. Visit wellcraftedstoryworkshop.com now. You're just a well-crafted story away from 7 figures. Hello there, my friend, and welcome to Misfits and Crackpots, short, inspiring stories for busy people. I'm Dr. Danny Brissell. This is a podcast for those interested in extraordinary stories about ordinary people and companies. Consider it your dose of positivity and inspiration for the week. Agatha Christie said, "To every problem there is a most simple solution." This week's success strategy: keep it simple. It could be considered a case of mistaken identity, but really, it was just an accident. That's how a penniless immigrant orphan from Lithuania would make her name. Lena Himmelstein was a pioneer. At the turn of the 20th century, America was a land of opportunity for millions of immigrants seeking a better life. Like many before her, Lena came with little more than hope and determination. Orphaned at a young age and raised by her grandparents in Lithuania, she made the daunting journey across the Atlantic alone, armed only with her wits and a fierce desire to forge her own path. She arrived in New York City in 1895. Upon arrival, Lena immediately faced her first challenge. Her family had arranged for her to marry the man who had paid for her passage to America, a common practice at the time. Displaying the independent spirit that would define her career, however, Lena refused this arrangement. Instead, she chose to make her own way in the bustling, often unforgiving streets of New York City. Lena's first job in America was as a seamstress in a lingerie factory, earning a meager wage of $1 per week. This sum, barely enough to survive on, might have discouraged many, but Lena saw it as an opportunity to hone her skills and learn the intricacies of the garment industry from the ground up. Her dedication and natural talent did not go unnoticed. Within a short time, Lena had increased her earnings to over $15 a week, a significant sum for a young immigrant woman at the time. This substantial increase in her wages was not just a financial boon, it was a testament to the value of hard work, skill development, and the importance of mastering one's craft. Life, however, had more challenges in store for Lena. By the age of 20, she had fallen in love with and married a Russian immigrant jeweler. Their happiness was short-lived, as Lena's husband tragically passed away soon after the birth of their first son. Now a young widow and single mother, Lena reverted to what she knew best, tailoring lingerie. Soon she moved from employee to entrepreneur and managed to open her own store. Opening her first bank account, Lena would one day earn fame because of a simple clerical error. But such a trivial thing mattered little to a woman who had overcome so much. By 1909, Lena had found love again. Her second marriage to Albert Malson brought not just personal happiness, but a strategic business partnership. Adopting her new husband's surname, Lena Malson found in Albert a complementary force for her growing enterprise. He took charge of the business operations, allowing Lena to focus on what she did best, design and innovation. This division of labor played to their individual strengths, creating a synergy that would propel their business to new heights. One day, a pregnant customer asked Lena if she could design something presentable but comfortable to wear on the street. This was a radical idea at the time when societal norms dictated that proper pregnant women should not be seen in public. Lena's response was characteristically innovative, practical, and simple. She designed a garment with a stretchable waistband and pleated skirt, creating the first commercial maternity dress. This simple solution to a common problem would become a hallmark of Lena's approach to business and design. The maternity dress was more than just a new product. It was also a statement of empowerment. It allowed middle-class women to dress in a way that reflected their changing bodies and embraced modern values. For poorer women, it meant the ability to continue working during pregnancy, a necessity for many struggling to make ends meet. It was the first of Lena's 4 major innovations. Despite the clear demand for maternity wear, Lena faced resistance from traditional advertising channels. Newspapers were reluctant to promote such attire, considering it taboo. Rather than accepting defeat, Lena and her husband devised an innovative solution. They created the first mail-order catalog for maternity wear. This move was revolutionary. By 1917, their sales had exceeded $1 million, and a few decades later, their company boasted the 6th largest mail-order sales of any retailer in the United States. It was a testament to Lena's creative thinking and finding simple solutions to complex problems. Lena's second innovation, her maternity clothes mail-order catalog, would soon be dwarfed, literally and figuratively, by her third innovation. At the beginning of the 20th century, women with larger body types had limited clothing options. Most either had to make their own clothes or pay for expensive custom-made clothing. Indeed, no mass manufacturer of women's clothing addressed the needs of stout-figured women before World War I. Lena and her husband had an idea. Using data they collected from the measurements of over 4,500 women in their stores, along with 200,000 others, they determined that, in general, there were 3 types of stout women. Fascinated, Lena set off to design clothes to fit the needs of each type. By 1923, the company's sales of full-figured clothing surpassed the sales of maternity wear, and overall sales exceeded $5 million. Sadly, Lena's second husband would pass away that same year, leaving Lena a widow again. Perhaps it was Lena's own humble origins and struggles that led her to create her 4th noteworthy innovation. During an era when few companies, particularly in the retail sector, provided substantial assistance to their employees beyond salaries, Lena introduced significant employee benefits. She felt it was simply the right thing to do. By 1950, over 3,500 employees of her company were actively engaged in profit-sharing, pension, disability coverage, and group life insurance plans. In fact, employees had their medical expenses fully covered for both doctor's appointments and hospital stays. Even more notably, when Lena's company stock became publicly traded, a quarter of the stock was set aside for employee subscription. In 1904, Lithuanian immigrant Lena Himmelstein rented a shopfront on the first floor of a building on Fifth Avenue for $12.50 a month, with living quarters in the rear. By 1915, she had opened her first branch store in Chicago. Although she died in 1951, today her company earns over $2 billion annually and boasts over 400 locations in the United States. But fashion icon Lena Himmelstein is relatively unknown. It was a simple mistake. All those years ago, a bank clerk inadvertently recorded her first name as Lane instead of Lena. At that time, she was using the last name of her first husband, David Bryant. And so, the company that Lena Himmelstein built, the business that revolutionized women's fashion and set new standards for employee care, came to be known by a name that wasn't quite her own, Lane Bryant. See, friend, inspiration is all around us. You just have to look for it. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another inspiring story about misfits and crackpots. Misfits and Crackpots is a production of Success Media, produced by Terrence Wishner. Sound effects by Alessandro Lucati, courtesy of Pixabay. Thank you for tuning in. If you love today's story, there's so much more to explore in the book Misfits and Crackpots by yours truly, Dr. Danny Brissell. Grab your copy now on Amazon and dive deeper into the extraordinary lives of those who dared to change the world. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with fellow misfits who love inspiring stories. See you next time.